Hello everybody, today I will be teaching you about exception and how to handle exceptions. But first, what is an exception? An exception is that an event that occurs during a program execution that disrupts the normal flow of instructions. It usually represents an error, such as an invalid input like dividing by zero. But exceptions can be handled, and we will be discussing that in this video by using the try, catch, and then finally statements. But first, I'll give you an example of an exception. Uh, an example would be like, let's first make an array of integers. Let's int, let's just say array, right now, array int numbers equals 4, 5, 4, 5, and 8. We're done. And then an exception occurs when something out of the ordinary happens or an invalid input, such as if we exceed the number of indexes in this array. So what happens? Number, and then we call on, since this only has the indexes of 0, 1, and 2, if we put here 3, this will run into an exception. So Control F5, instead of outputting something, it ran into an exception, which is the index out of range exception. And what I'll be teaching you today is how to handle them using the try, catch, and find them. First, the try, we will be putting the try statement where the code is. Basically, we put the try where we will execute the code, and then the catch below it. So once the try runs through this, and it will go through this catch statement. So instead of running into an exception, we can state what went wrong to the user. Like, an error has occurred. So this time, instead of it outputting an index out of range exception, let's see what happens when we run it. See, we still called the number 3 index, which should output the index out of range, but instead it got caught in this try catch statement, and instead of showing the index out of range exception, it showed that an error has occurred. And you can make this specific, like the number of indexes you input went beyond the set indexes. So when the user puts the wrong index, instead of having nothing to explain to them that what went wrong, you can tell them that what specifically went wrong. And in this matter, the number of indexes you input went beyond the set indexes. So you can tell the user what happened instead of returning just an error and them having no clue what happened. And the last statement is the finally block. In this block, you can after it shows this, it will continue the next code that is supposed to go. So let's try putting this here again. For example, 2. In this example, the user tried it again. Like, instead of them putting a 3, they put 2, which should output this number. And once we run it, there we go. Imagine this. The user in the first time, in the try catch, in the try statement, put the number 3 in their index, and this is what outputted. The number of indexes you input went beyond the set indexes. And after that shows, they tried again. They went into the finally block. The program goes into the finally block and goes to this array, and the user inputs another another index, which is now correct since this is 0, 1, and 2. And that, everybody, is exception and exception handling. Thank you.